today's session, as CloudFormation. So um, people who have attended previous session of Terraform, it's going to be pretty easy for you. CloudFormation is similar to what Terraform does. Terraform is an external automation tool to automate AWS or any other cloud task. CloudFormation is AWS automation tool. It's automation boy. Okay, so CloudFormation can automate anything in AWS cloud, but it's only specific to AWS cloud. Excuse me. And you can put it into the category of infrastructure as a code. So you write a code, and don't worry, it's not programming language. And people who have already done the previous classes and everything, not the new guys, previous guys, I think we have all old guys. So it's YAML based. Okay, so you know how to write playbook, and you're good to go already. Ansible playbooks, and AWS. I mean, you're already good to go with CloudFormation. You can just open the documentation and get started with. But before we get started, let's understand some terminologies in CloudFormation. Let me zoom it. By the way, how are you all? And long time no see. I see a lot of old names, right? Zishan, we have Parker. Yo, Parker. Oh, yeah, a lot of old people. Davis. Okay. I hope you people are safe. I'm actually quarantined right now. I traveled back from my hometown to Hyderabad, and it's like 1 week. It's one more week left. I'm going crazy, but I'm keeping myself occupied, busy. I'm reading books, I'm doing things, and hey, we have opened a YouTube channel. I think you already know, and I am and these are some old videos, not new videos. You subscribe to it. Okay, I'm going to start putting new videos, very awesome videos. I have started creating animations, and I have some nice mic where I'm gonna record and all. A lot of new things in Kubernetes and stuff like that, and I will, after the class, also ask you your recommendation. What do you need? What do you want? What you're looking for? So I'm going to create videos for that, really awesome videos, and put it on this channel. Okay, so subscribe to it, and as they say, what do they say? Like, subscribe, and press that bell icon, blah blah blah, something like that. Right, we'll come back to it. Yeah, so that's how I'm keeping busy also. All right, so coming back, so in CloudFormation, let's understand some terminologies, and then let's understand the basic stack, basic, syntax of CloudFormation, and then it's going to be all about going to its resource documentation and doing it. So in CloudFormation, there is no script. We write it in a YAML or JSON format. Previously it was JSON, and it was horrible. That's why I never used it. Maybe, but from some time it's YAML based, and it's very easy to write now. So CloudFormation is a service that's going to read your YAML file. You upload your YAML file, which has XYZ step, like, hey, create me this infrastructure, create me EC2 instance, create S3 bucket, create RDS, create security group, and CloudFormation is going to read that, okay, and then it's going to take the action. So basically, your YAML file describes the state of the infrastructure. Okay, how do you want your infrastructure to be? Okay, and so when it reads your template, okay, that's called as template. When it reads your template, which is in YAML or JSON format, it creates a stack. Okay, now stack is really the state that you define in your YAML file. Okay, and if you want to make any changes, like we have EC2 instance with security group, we want to change some rules in the security group. So we have to update our template, and when we update the template, CloudFormation, we upload it back, CloudFormation reads it and updates the stack. Stack is basically whatever you define in your template file. Okay, it could be multiple resources, EC2 instance, S3 bucket, RDS, security group, multiple things. Okay, so stack is what we define in our template. All right. Okay, so before we get started now, I'm just going to show you the exercises. So we define the template in YAML format, we uploads it, and it creates the stack. When you want to update a stack, okay, So it's very easy to do. You just update your template file, you upload it again, CloudFormation reads it and makes an update. But sometimes updates are quite dangerous. Like maybe you renamed RDS instance when you renamed it. Okay, in the template, you renamed the RDS instance and you think that it's gonna rename my RDS. Yeah, but what it's gonna do is it's gonna create a new RDS instance and delete your old one. Your RDS instance will be holding database. It will delete that. So changes can be very, very dangerous in CloudFormation, and sometimes I've seen CloudFormation working very weirdly. I don't know. Let's see if that happens. Okay, and that may cause data loss. So to prevent that, CloudFormation has changed set. This is like the dry run in Ansible playbook we have, right? So it's going to show you what's going to happen if you execute your template. That's change set. Okay, and if you're good with that, so it will tell you I'm going to modify, or I'm going to delete, or I'm going to not do anything. It's going to tell you that. Okay, so look at the change set. Very, 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 very important. I've seen people going cowboyish on CloudFormation, and they just update the stack and they just run it, and what happens is it just deletes the resources. Okay, right, and recreates them, so you lose your data. So be very careful with that. Yeah, man, I heard a lot of stories about UK. Seriously, not only you, some other students also told me from UK. It's getting very scarier over there. God help us, man. Okay, so that's about the change set. Okay, now let's do an exercise and let's come back and understand the anatomy of our template. This is what basically you have to learn in CloudFormation, how to write this. Okay, so I'm going to come back to this one, but let's do an exercise. Okay, let's upload one template and let's understand what is a stack, what is a template, and how does it work. Okay, and then we'll understand the data. Okay, so just a moment. So I have some ready-made template ready. I'm going to share this with you through mail. I'm also going to upload it on the Facebook group. You can download it from there. So let's log into AWS Management Console and let's use CloudFormation. Okay. I recommend you do some reading on this. I've shared you the link with the documentation. You have getting started guide and all. Later, go through this one after our workshop. Okay. So it says CloudFormation does blah 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 blah, how it works, its benefits and all. You can read these things. Okay, I'm saying blah blah blah, but read it because it will be good to talk in the interview. Okay, so create stack. Now you have option. You have a template. You can upload your template either through Amazon S3. You can store your template on the S3 bucket, and you can just put the link of your template over here, or you can upload your own template. There are some sample templates if you just want to see how it works, like lamp stack. Okay, simple lamp stack, Ruby on Rails, WordPress blog. Okay, so if you click on this, so there's some template on some S3 bucket. You can see this in the designer. Put a control button and then hit your mouse. Okay, so it opens in a different tab. Otherwise it takes you in a tab and doesn't come back. So I never use designer. Really, I'm good with YAML. Okay, but when previously there was no YAML, the JSON, then people used to use this designer. I never really understood this designer. This used to take a lot of time. It's basically you can drag and drop here things and it will create the template for you. Okay, see if you're good with this, you can use this also to write your templates. Okay, and then you can change names. It says there is a security group it will create, and there will be a web server that will get created. Okay, this is the template in JSON format, and you can click on this and see it in YAML format. Yeah, so this is your template basically, and you see just line by line, no programming, and it's huge template, but it's mostly about conditions and mapping. Okay, it's a very easy template, by the way. It's just long, just trying to make you scared. Okay, don't get scared. So you can create your template in the designer, as I told you. As I also told you that I never do that because it's easy for me to write a template. So I have a template. I'm gonna upload that template. Choose file. So this is the first example template. I will show that template to you. How does it look? Okay, that's the template. Okay, it says resources, a logical name, and the type of the resource and properties on that resource. Okay, we'll understand that in a moment. Okay, basically it's a template that's going to launch an EC2 instance with this AMI, with this instance type. Right? See, you see already it's very easy to understand, but I'll explain you. Don't worry. Go next. And now you have to enter a stack name. I'm gonna say my underscore first underscore stack. Okay, this is the name of the stack and not the name of your resource. Resource means the EC2 instance, S3 bucket, RDS. These are your resources. Okay, it's not the name of that. This is the name of your stack. Right. Go next. Oh, I can't put underscore my first stack. I hate it when they do it. Okay. Next. All right, there's some advanced option. You can just skip that. Go next. Okay, and this is good. So create stack. Right. So basically our stack is an EC2 instance. Okay. You can see the template that we uploaded over here in this tab, template tab. Events, what's happening. So it's saying create in progress. So let's go to EC2 service. So if you see, it's creating an instance. Okay. And there's no tag to this instance because you're not given any tag or anything. Okay. But you see, it says the event create in progress, create in progress. Yeah, so that's the working of it. Come on, get it done already. Right, so you upload the template, it reads the template and creates your stack. Okay, that's how it works. Now let's understand the template. Okay, how we are going to write them. Okay, because that's what you're going to write. And don't worry, as far as you have done Python session, you have no data types, you know JSON, you know YAML, so no problem. Okay, there's no programming language, it's pretty easy. This is template, different values, properties, and it's in a JSON format. Okay, but we're going to use really YAML format. Okay, but just to get started with, so these are all the properties of the template file. You have AWS template format version. Here you have to specify the version, and really there is just one value to it. Okay, 2010 something something. Okay, it's just one value to it, and this is optional. You can skip this. Description about the template, this is also optional. If you want, you can skip this. Okay, metadata. Okay, some information about the template, like probably you want to say who is creating this template, this is for what purpose, blah blah blah. Again, this is optional. Parameters, if you want user to enter some input while creating the template, like select the key pair, or select give me some name, the project name or anything. Okay, like input parameters, right? Like in bash scripting we have seen command line by arguments, right? Any input parameters. So again, optional. Mappings, mapping is really dictionary. Okay, in Python we create dictionary, right? It's similar to that. So, and when you create a mapping, you can look up in the mapping table in the dictionary for some data, and we're going to see that example. Okay, basically it's a dictionary, it's just some data. Condition, if you want to put some condition, like in playbooks you have when condition and all, right? So like that. Transform, this is for macros, way too advanced, we don't have this in our workshop. Resources, this is the only mandatory property. Okay, here you specify the resources. Resources means EC2 instance, security group, key pair, S3 bucket, RDS, load balancer, auto scaling, right? All those things that you do, those are called as resources. This is the only mandatory property in your template. You have to specify this. Okay, Output is also optional. Output is like print again, like echo, right? And really don't need to by heart all those things. Okay, we're going to cover all this with the most of it with the examples. So our focus is going to be only majorly on resources because that's what we intend to create. Okay, so next. All right, welcome Harsha, very late. All right, so resources from in this you have in resources, again this is in JSON format. So what do you define in resources? In resources we have colon, again it's a dictionary. So you give a logical ID, probably name of a resource. You want to give some name to the resource just for the template. Okay, like my web server, something like that. Okay, or vProfile web server, and then you say type of the resource EC2. Okay, properties of EC2, AMI ID, instance type, security group, key pair. Okay, like in playbook you have arguments in the module, right? Like that. That's in JSON format, and you don't need to write JSON. You have YAML. See how clean that looks. So you just say resources, you give a logical ID. See, this logical ID is going to be the name in the template and only for the template. This will be not referred outside. Okay, this is your own name. You can give any name to your resource. Okay, maybe you're creating an S3 bucket to store your desktop data, so you can give any name, like store S3 for my desktop, something like that. Okay, and you can refer that in your template again. Okay, and then you're creating S3 bucket, so you're going to say type S3 and then property of the S3 bucket. Okay, name of the bucket, owner, and blah blah blah. Right, so right, so this is with some values, right? So type, so this is going to be the type like in ARN format, AWS colon colon EC2 colon colon instance. Right, I'll show you how you can find all this right now. CloudFormation resources documentation. Okay, so you don't get scared by looking at it. Okay, oh, like that, Harsha. Okay, so these are the services. Let's say we want to create EC2 instance, so let's go to EC2. Yeah, there. Right, and in EC2 also we have so many things, right? Like we have elastic IP, we have elastic IP association, we have instance, so we want to create instance, click on that. Right, so AWS colon colon EC2 colon colon instance. Okay, and here you have the JSON example, which is very ugly. This is YAML. Right, so you have to say type AWS EC2 instance, right, like what you're seeing here. Oh, let's go to, wait, let's go to YAML. Yeah, this is good, right? So resources, logical ID, type, right, type AWS EC2 instance, and properties. And you have all the properties you can see. Okay, availability zone you can specify. You can specify image ID, you can specify key name, you can specify security groups ID, security group name. Okay, and in detail about this properties down over here, every property in detail. Okay, like instance type, what are the options that you can select, allowed values. See that? So you have the documentation, as I was talking about Ansible documentation, right? You have documentation for this one also. Not as good as Ansible, but it will do the work. Okay, and some examples down here you'll have. EC2 instance is the logical ID, just some name. Type properties, and you see image ID. And ignore this one, I'll explain you this. Right, so just know that you have all the data. You really don't need to by heart these things, right? Right, example of S3 bucket. You want to create an S3 bucket, so you would say resources, give a name, and you say type AWS S3 bucket, properties, bucket name, chamomile. It's a very good homeopathy medicine, by the way. Access control, and in website configuration, index document. These are the properties, right? You can again see this in the documentation. Okay, example of security group, logical ID, MySG, type AWS EC2 security group, properties, group name, security group ingress rule. Okay, and as I told you, right, you can just check in the documentation, AWS EC2 security group, click on that, right, and you can see. You can scroll down and directly see an example also if you want. Right, properties. So this is ingress means the inbound rule. Okay, egress means the outbound rule. Okay, security group ingress protocol, right? From to actually we just in security group we just select one port, right? Like port 80 allowed from my IP. Okay, when you do this here, you have to do from port to port both. Okay, if you know networking, you understand what it is, why it is. Okay, otherwise just do it as it is telling you to do. Okay, this is outbound role. Okay, this is the outbound role. Okay, so let's see some examples now. Okay. Oh, let me ask you this. Now take a look at it for a minute, and then I'll ask you. Okay, what I'm showing you right here, just take a look at it for a minute, then I'll ask you.
Imran, this is Parker.
Parker,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Good, good. So,
Now my
Ingress,
turn. First, I'm gonna ask the question for to everyone, then you can ask. Okay, so you have seen this, how to create a security group through CloudFormation. All right, easy or not? Can you do this or not? You have a CloudFormation template, you have to add the security group, provided your previous experience. Come on, you didn't play books. No? All right. We're going to go through the workshop and then I'm going to ask you this question again. Okay, and I hope that time you answer. All right. Parker. Yeah.
do we have to give the egress as well? Because like the ingress is the one, right? Once
No, you don't
the
need to.
connections are coming, yeah.
Now, security groups, you don't need to. That's for actually NACL and all.
Okay.
Okay. One side is fine. This ingress is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into it. Okay. So let's see our first example. Shows all the others. Okay. So this is a very, very basic CloudFormation template. As I told you, resources is the only mandatory property. So, right, out of all of this, we're just using resources. That's the only mandatory thing. Okay, you have to use resources, right? Resources and a logical ID. You can give anything. You can just say my first EC2. Okay, like that. And then type AWS colon colon EC2 colon colon instance, that you can get from the documentation. Then properties of it, that also you can get from the documentation. Instance type T2 micro. In image ID, that's your AMI ID. How do you get the AMI ID? Okay, you may try to use my own AMI ID, but check you're in which region. There, click on launch instance. Okay, and here you can get the AMI ID. I'm using actually Amazon Linux too, and Ireland region, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, so that's where I got my image ID from. Okay, so you better update the template after you receive it, otherwise it's going to throw error, AMI not found. Okay, so get that. And instance type you already know, T2 micro. And case sensitive. Okay, this is case sensitive. I T capital here, I capital here. Okay, so again, in doubt, just open the documentation, right? Instance, instance, yeah, right. And you can see all the options, right? It's in YAML format, right? Or you can directly see example also. Okay, also online also there are so many templates available freely. Okay, So you can see example also. Okay, and this is what we did, the first one. We already have created the stack. Okay, let's refresh this. It says create complete, right? Resources, you have the logical ID. This is the logical ID that was in the template. EC2 instance. Okay, that's the logical ID. You can see the logical. Physical ID is the instance ID. Okay, so both are going to be different. Type create complete. In template, you can see the template. Okay, now we already have this template, and I want to make some changes. I want to add tags. Okay, tags. So adding tag, again, you can check in the documentation where it's like this, tags, and you indent and you say first tag, I'm going to say name, name of my web 01, something like that. Wait a moment. Update is second example. Yeah, it's key and value, my bad. Okay, and that's why I was wondering what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so you can see here also you have tags. Okay, list of tag, list. You can see some example also down there. So tags hyphen key, this is going to be the key, and value is going to be this. I'm going to say my web 01. Okay, or you can give multiples. I'm going to say another key is project, or I do owner value. Let's see, EFN, like CloudFormation, something like that. So I've given two tags. Okay, and let me save this. And you can think basically I updated the same template. So let's go to CloudFormation, and here you have an option of update. Okay, when you click on update, so you get an option of use the current template which is already uploaded, replace current template, yes, replace it, upload a template file and choose file, and that second template you see over there, okay, that's the one that we have made changes to. Okay, excuse me. So basically it's the same template as the previous one, except you have tags in that. Okay, some updates. Go next, and go next, and okay, now down here about change set. Now when you come over here, wait for a moment and it will show you what's going to be then update. There's an action modify, look for this replacement. This is very dangerous. If it says false, then you're good, it's not going to replace anything. Okay, you're just updating the tab. But if you do something else, like you change the instance type and all and some other things, it just deletes, replaces the instance. So look for this modify action is there, replacement is there, no, so we're good. Okay, you can click on view change set. Okay, and you can see it in detail if you want. What's the input, what's your template, okay, what are the changes in detail. And if you're good with this, you can say execute. So I always recommend you see the change set, because I have seen people making big blunders, actually big mistakes or blunders. Okay, it deleted their resources and they lost the data. Thankfully some of them had backup, but who knows what happens. Okay, so it says update complete. Let's go to our instance and let's refresh, and there you go, we have the tag. Okay, you can click on tags. So this is the tag that we have given, name of the server owner. These are the tags given by the CloudFormation. Okay, which is nice. So you can really see your resource is created by CloudFormation. Okay, and it gives you the complete information of the stack ID, stack name. Okay, so this is really good. Okay, this is an information for you that hey, this is created by CloudFormation, so you better not touch it manually. Okay, like that. Okay, so our stack is created, then we have updated. Now let's delete our stack. So what happens when you delete? So this stack is, you have all the resources in the stack. We created EC2 instance, so when we delete the stack, the EC2 instance will get deleted.